So iridology is actually a pseudoscience, so it's not backed up by the scientific method. And iridologists, people that study iridology and do iridology, they could look at your iris and depending on the shape or particles you have there or just like little signatures in there, that's supposed to predict which organ is flawed or which organ is diseased. So they basically look at your eye and they have like a graph of what part of the eye affects what organ and vice versa. And that's kind of how they base off their theory.
It's like also reflexology, which is like basically the feet are all connected to different types of organs. So if you massage like the inner part of like the foot, it kind of affects the stomach. Or if you massage the pinky, it affects the eye. And my grandma has that giant chart in her downstairs basement. So I wonder if that's actually a pseudoscience as well.
Sure. We could look that up. But yeah, I've seen that a lot. And I know sometimes they tell you if you have like a headache from like the side or something, then you could like move your two fingers together and it's supposed to go away. And I tried it before and it actually worked. Like maybe it was like a placebo effect, but it worked for me a few times.
I mean, we're only discovering so much. Like, look at the whole mind-body connection. That's a new thing, right?
Yeah.
But did they test the pseudoscience to find out the results?
So this is a pseudoscience. So there was in Australia where these researchers gathered vast amounts of data and they looked at other studies with 17 different alternative therapies than what we're used to here in like the west side of the hemisphere. And one of them was the iridology. And this was in 2015. And their research showed that iridology, it's hard for me to say that, it was clear that it has no effective evidence at all. So it was basically proven ineffective. And then another study in 2005 took 110 participants, and they were each diagnosed with a different type of cancer. And they had an iridologist come in and try to diagnose what kind of cancer they have. And that study also showed that iridology was of no value.
So it was like a double-blinded study.
It was a double-blind study, so the researchers didn't know who had what kind of cancer, and nor did the iridologist. All they know was that there was some cancer going in, and some people didn't even have cancer. And iridology showed no value whatsoever. So this is pseudoscience. It's completely garbage, nonsense. There hasn't been any studies over there that prove that it is right in any way, shape, or form.
So they took 110 people, right? 68 of those people had one of the 4 cancers: breast, ovarian, uterus, prostate, colorectal. That's 5. And 42 did not have any evidence of cancer. And they, took this guy that's an iridologist, I guess.
Yeah, they said you could just prove what kind of cancer you have just by looking at your eye.
And he wasn't able to show any significant value in his method.
Yeah. So basically, it's all nothing.
And we actually looked it up in the Chicagoland area, and there's actually 3 doctors around like a 25-mile radius that actually you could go to and make an appointment to him. That's interesting.
Maybe we should make an appointment to see how this works. I'm kind of curious.
We could also show him the research and let him know what's up.
Yeah, what if he has his own research? But if he has his own research that he conducted, that's kind of going to be skewed. But if he has some research that's like done by somebody else, like a third party or something.
I feel like before you even get into the study of the eye, what you do is you ask the person, like, how his lifestyle is. You ask him what kind of, diseases run in his family. I feel like you ask him what kind of medications he's on and all this other stuff. And then you're able to, like, even me and you, like, if you ask those questions, you're able to kind of, like, gauge to see how healthy this person is. And you're able to gauge just a little bit, and then that could kind of sway your results when you're looking at the iris. You never know.
Right, yeah, that's true. Like, if your mother has diabetes but your father doesn't, and then they both have, some kind of a cancer, like your mother has, like, a breast cancer and your father has pancreatic cancer, and then they both have heart disease, you're mostly going to have heart disease compared to diabetes.
Yeah, so these doctors can't tell you have a disease, but they're able to target a specific organ. So if Peter's says he has diabetes in the family, I'll look into his iris and I'll say, I think you're
prone to diabetes.
Your pancreas is kind of, showing symptoms of heavy toxicity or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's ways to, like, skew the results and kind of... I'm sure that this iridologist based his information more off your history and your genetics compared to just, like, your eye.
Yeah.
Because... what if someone fell on my eye? That would kind of skew everything. Like, I'd say if I had to cut my eye, you wouldn't be able to do that, would you? Hopefully you asked that, because what if I have, like, shrapnel on my eye and I never told them? Yeah. Not that I was hit by a grenade or anything, but yeah.
This is debunked. I wish we had the gavel, like we said again, kind of hit it. Yeah. move on to the next topic.
Don't waste
So,
your time with iridiology.
Yeah, it's not backed up by science.